I'm so excited. Happy Monday. This is one of my favorite days because I get to add more value to this incredible group and the C-suite. Try as a leader. And not just that, we have guest speaker here where they're going to bring all this incredible expertise, the challenges, all the good stuff. But before we start, I wanted to say welcome to the C-suite leadership journey. My name is Candy Winder, and I'm here to help leaders improve team performance. How are we going to improve team performance? By equipping you with the best leadership skills, and also not just you, your team, and all you surround them. This is about 360 degrees. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to this channel. And if you have any questions, remember you can send me a direct message through Facebook or through WhatsApp. So I believe you have all my information. So if you have a question for Jay Abraham, just remember, just directed the question to me. So now let's welcome Jay Abraham. He is from Sudan and also live in an incredible and amazing place called Dubai. Can you believe it? So let's welcome Jay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So how's everything going
thank
so
you for
far?
having me. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going really well. I can't complain at all. It's been great, and I'm really honored to be in your platform. And I think whatever you all the stuff that you're trying to do here is just fascinating, and super proud to be here. And I'm very honored. Thank you.
So Jay, most of the people, the leaders from this group, they were like, "Who's Jay? Who's Jay? You know, how do you know him?" And I told them, "This is my secret sauce. He is one of the best mentors I ever have and currently have." So I just want to say that I'm so honored to have you here because we all want to learn where you get from here and where do you started in your journey as a CEO, as a leader, and all this crazy journey that we have to go through. So share a little bit about how do you decide to become a leader, a CEO?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And again, thank you for saying I'm your mentor. It's profound. I still understand how that word for me is just fascinating. So I'm kind of glad. Thank you so much. So I wish I could tell you it was an easy calling. It wasn't. It was something that I had to go through for quite some time. So, I'm an immigrant. My family's an immigrant. So we moved from, as you said, from Sudan to Dubai, and then we transitioned our way into to New Zealand. So, but growing up was very, very, very rough. It was very rough, but it was kind of something that I was kind of welcoming. So it wasn't a trauma per se. It was rather a struggle. But because we did it as a family, I felt always connected. The reason why I'm saying this to you is because when I moved to New Zealand, it was only remained that family. So when I transitioned, I asked myself, this just cannot be it. I worked as I did my studies in undergrad in psychology, did my postgrad in mental health and psychology, and then I did a master's in behavioral psych. So basically, I wanted to understand human biology, human anatomy, human behaviors, everything. I just wanted, and when one person asked me the other day, is like, why did you study so much? I told him because I wanted to be a weapon. I wanted my brain to be a weapon, to be such a strong weapon that it can be utilized everywhere. Not in a bad way, but in a strong way. So I did 3 masters, and all of them in applied behaviors and understanding human behaviors. I did my NLP, I did my life coaching, I did my relationship coaching, I did wealth coaching. I studied everything, and I've been studying now for 13 years, and I've never stopped. And I just won't stop. It fascinates me. So I did all the studies, and then one day I was in New Zealand writing my report, and I just said, this life cannot be mine. So what I did, I wrote my last report. Then I wrote my resignation at the same time, and I sent it to my boss. So he read my report, then he read my resignation. He's like, what the hell? What just happened? I told him, listen, man, I just can't. And I bought a one-way ticket to Australia. One-way to Australia. And then I went home and told my mom, I'm packing my bags. I'm done. So I left. I bought a one-way ticket and I just left. And she's like, how long are you going to go for? I thought, I don't know. I'm just going. I just need to follow whatever dreams that I have in my head, whatever goal that I have, I need to follow it. Because I need to realize if I give up on my dreams, I'm giving up on my life. So I went. I traveled. I went to Australia, and it was rough. To say to you, it was very rough. Like the first 9 months, it was very rough, and I became homeless midway of it. It was very struggling, and I was living from couch to couch. And I bought a car for $1,000, and it was leaking. It was leaking, and it wouldn't make me. So I had to tape the cooler and tape the water compartment, and I taped it up, and I put blue tack in it just to make it survive, to take me from A to B. And then I would sleep in the car when I go to work and stuff like that. It was very rough, but I always knew no matter what, I will succeed. I just knew it. I don't know where it came from, but I knew I would succeed because it was only us, the family. Because it was only us, I always knew I'm always protected. So no matter what happened, I knew I would succeed. So sure, I went. And then I finally got my job, got the car, got the lifestyle, and then I got into debt. And then my credit score went all the way down to 200. It was just a shamble, my friend. It was just a shamble. But I always knew I would make it. Then then it's transitioned. I was struggling for a little while. I didn't know what job to take, what to do all the stuff. Even though I was trying to be a weapon, I was still struggling, because I wasn't utilizing my skills appropriately, and I was just trying to go in aimlessly. Anyway, I got a job offer in the middle of Alice Springs, which is in the middle of Australia. I did the interview in the airport.
Wow.
And then I told them, when they asked me, when can you start? I said the next day. So they flew me to Alice Springs. and I started working there.
Story.
And then they gave me the keys. They said to me, here you go, run the department. I took over the department. I ran it. It had 120 staff, 6 managers, 2 operational managers, 1 senior manager, and clinicians. And they told me to run it. I said, okay, yeah. That was just the attitude. I was like, yeah, okay. So sure enough, I went there, took over, and then she said to me, if you can survive 6 months, I'll give you a raise and stuff like that. Okay. So I survived 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then after that, I made away. So when I came back, I gained all that knowledge, and I just said from there, that's it. This is the last time I become an employee, because now I gain all this knowledge. This is the last time I become an employee. It's time for me to take over the world. So I went and I opened my own company. Didn't start off with a business first. I just opened up my own company. I did coaching, and then from coaching I went to consulting. From consulting I went to branding and acquisition, and then from acquisition I started investing. So it went to trajectory, and now we're comfortably running amazing portfolios. We have about 6 companies under our belt, and we have 6 major projects ending in next year. Each project is about 25 to 30 million. And we have 6 of them running next year, and we signing up another one potentially the year after. And every year, and I made a vow that every year that I work, I will own 10 new businesses or start a new 10 business. So that's what I'm heading now. So I own 6 this year. Next year I'm going to own 10. The next year I'm going to own 20, and so on.
Wow, what a story.
Thank you.
So this is literally like a true proof story of an immigrant who has been going through a lot of challenges, a lot of probably rejection, struggling with money, a lot of going on until you finally your breakthrough and you start like conquering and having a big success. That's really amazing. I didn't know the full story. I know you shared with us like a little bit of transition, but I didn't know the whole story. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. This is awesome. So what has been the part on your business? Well, you're running your business. What is the part that you most love about your leadership?
Yeah, to be honest, it's the relationship. I realized when I did all my studies and it all comes down to relationship. How do you create a relationship between 2 compartments on 2 people? And the way relationship kind of fails is because people have different levels of expectations and different levels of reality.
Okay.
And if they don't meet, they clash. So the expectation, let's just say I went to a business and I said to them, okay, I can turn around this business, give you $500,000 within the next 18 months and so on. So their expectations, if I don't put clear expectations of how I run my business, how I run the team, how I run that, then their aspect of what I'm going to do, it will counteract what their expectations are. So they'll probably expect me to be their employee, or they expect me to rule over things and do things for them and stuff like that. And if I don't set it in the beginning, if you're trying to talk about expectations halfway through the project, it's over. Because by then they said, oh, no, we didn't understand this. We didn't agree to all of this. And then this is where clashes happen. So I always tell people, you have to have your expectation meet your reality. And if it doesn't, they will become foreigners and they will never marry.
Yes,
if they don't
that's
marry,
true.
if they don't marry, they clash, and they end up going into a professional divorce. We don't want that.
Yes. Yeah, we don't want divorce.
No, no, we don't want that to happen.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So I believe that, so this is one of the questions that I always got for the speakers here, from the people who are watching us right now. And Jeff just sent me a message, and he actually wants to ask you, what have you done from just running your own, your small consulting business to actually scale it and actually become and provide more services to all the companies that you've been doing?
So what you mean? The question is, I get it right. So what transitioned me from consultant to owning businesses?
So what do you do? What was the mindset? What do you do to actually get into that?
The secret sauce. Yeah. So thank you for the question. It's a great question. So for me, it honestly started, as I said before, it started off with that relationship and expectation. But in real reality, I needed to figure out numbers. I need to be good at numbers. I need to speak, because everything, emotions come into place and logic comes into place, and the word and understanding kind of confabulates. But numbers never change. So I had to speak with people with numbers. And I said to myself, what is the number that I need to make per year, per month, in order for me to leave my job? That's the first question. And then I said, so same company, what numbers do you need me to make for you per year or per month in order for you to trust that I'm good and I can take it to the next level? That's the first question I had to ask. The second thing I asked myself, what can I create that is sustainable? Because the worst thing I could do for myself is get a job or get a consultancy gig, work with you for 6 months and then leave, because now I have to look for another job or another client. So what I did, I created sustainability. So I said, if I make you go from here to here, so let's just say you go from making $100,000 a year to making $500,000 a year because of my involvement, the $400,000 that I made you profit, I take 10% of it.
Gotcha.
So now it became a long-term relationship, which means that the 40,000, if I take 10% of it, that's 40K. So that means for the rest of my life, I have 40K coming in every year because of that relationship that I made. So I don't sign up for 1 month, for 1 month, 6 months. What coaches always been telling me, I start signing up for 18 months to 2 years to 5 years. I went for a long game. So I said to them, look, I'll reach your company's sustainability. Sustainability usually takes you about 18 months to 2 years, and then growth happens at the 5-year mark.
So what do you do to actually change your mindset?
So
as a leader.
Correct. So I had to say to myself, I need to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an investor. What do investors do? They prioritize their time and their money. I'm no longer obliged by your time, nor am I obliged by the task you give me. Instead, I'm obliged by the value that I give you from the contract that we have. And if I can give you value with 2 hours a week, I have managed. I'm now thinking like an investor, and I'm thinking long term. I sacrifice for a little while, and it's really sucks for a little while, but then when the money starts coming in, it compounds.
Yes.
Let me give you numbers. I can work with one client, I can work with 10 clients paying me $3,000 each, right? 10 clients, that's $30,000 a year. Fantastic. Or I can work with 2 clients. Each one of them, I make them $500,000 a year, which means the $400,000 is my profit. $40,000, which means 2 of them pay me $40,000 passive income ongoingly, right? While I get service fee. My service fee is roughly around $5,000 a month. So if I do that, so that means for 2 years, I'm getting 60K from each company. On top of that, I get 80K as a passive income for the growth of money that I made them. So now I get 2 streams of income from 2 contracts only. So instead of actually just being 60K, it actually becomes 120 plus 160, that's 300,000. No, 280,000. So that means I made $280,000 from just 2 contracts, as opposed to getting multiple of clients as coaches and consultancy. So I had to think about the long term. So switch your thoughts from an employee or self-employed to an investor, and the whole world changed.
So what was I know that you read a lot, that you have this
Yeah.
book club. So what book was the number one for you to actually transition from
question.
employee to an investor?
Okay.
What was the book that gave?
Can it be multiple books, or does it have to be one?
Oh no, just tell me whatever you need.
Okay, so the biggest book that anybody should definitely read starting tomorrow, the 2 books that I always kind of fall back to. One is Your Next 5 Moves. Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick David. He is he's just phenomenal. He just makes you think 5 steps ahead. It's a concept that you don't think about the relationship that you have with one person. So I will never look at Candy from today. I'll look at Candy, what we should look like 5 years from now. And then I'll reverse engineer it to what I do today with her. So if I see potential in Candy in 5 years, then I work with her now because I know in 5 years' time she'll return my investment. Long term ahead. So he created a concept called you have to be aggressively patient. Aggressively patient. Which means you just have to wait. There was first book. Second book, there's another one. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy, which basically make you think outside the box. So if everybody's doing this and you follow the same trail, you're gonna get the same result as everybody. But if you look for the blue ocean, where you look something different within the same formula, you'll create a trajectory for a better future. Wow. So when I read these 2 books, I was just like, that's it. Makes sense. And then, of course, there's the 5 a.m. Club, which got you into by understanding your leadership qualities and your legacy-making principles and all that stuff. You put it all together and you just, So I started, so from 2018 till now, I read, a little bit over 400 books. And I just really got myself into it. Really. But just these 3 books just blew my mind.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. I told you guys that you're going to receive a lot of gold nuggets today.
Thank you.
And I'm glad this is recorded. I'm going to be posted because you guys got to take notes. Get a piece of paper and pen because Jay is bringing everything. So let me ask you something, Jay. So what has been 1 or 2 biggest challenges that you ever have as a leader?
What are the biggest challenges that I had? I don't want to sound corny by saying I never had a challenge, because it's not true, but it's understanding emotional intelligence of other people and their personality. And I had to realize that I had to speak in people's pace and people's perspective rather than my own. So I'm quote unquote go-getter, or I rush through problems and I try to just get to the next stage, and I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive. But I struggled to realize that others are not going to be on the same boat. That was my biggest flaw. And that was my biggest setback that I ever had. So I realized that if I don't talk to people in their own pace, if I don't talk to them from their perspective, and realize some people just want money as an incentive, some people want perks, and that some people are self-motivated, some people are not. Some people are driven by accolades. Some people are driven by hierarchy or money as a bonus. If I don't speak their language, might as well speak in different languages altogether. So that's the biggest thing. And it took me a really long time. So I read this book called Personality Plus. And then, and it just made me understand how people think different. And it talks about their strengths and their weaknesses. So for example, because I am a go-getter, again, quotation, and I rush, and which is called sanguine, I am a life of the party. I'll just be excited. I'll be introvert. But I did not realize that triggers the people that are, choleric, or the people that are melancholy, where people are just solely quiet and just want to be by themselves. So I'm gonna tell them, okay, let's go do this plan. We're gonna have this new project that will give us this much money with all this stuff. Let's go do it. And that triggers people. So they go into their cocoon. I'm sitting there going, why are people so scared? Let's go do this. And I realize I'm not speaking their language. And I did them a misjustice or injustice because of my own self-beliefs and own seeing things from my own lens rather than being a little bit more open-minded. So I had to understand diversity, I had to understand personality, emotional intelligence. I had to understand I had to understand people's pace and people's comfortability.
So literally, you break through the pride status that normally most of the CEOs and leaders has to go through. That they say, "Oh, I know this. I got this.
No,
I can communicate with everybody. Everybody likes me," but it's not that way.
It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. But one thing you need to always maintain, and even Jordan Peterson talks about it very nicely, is something called posture. So posture is everything in a meeting. Everything. If you can create a posture where you become the dominant person, or at least the person that is aware of what's going on, then you can say anything and sell anything, because people understand you come from a place of a good position and authority. In another relation, you need to have this amazing quality. And I told this to a CEO who had over 1,500 staff members. I went up to him and he had a meeting with all the HRs, and he started talking to people, and I just went up to him and said to him, you need to learn to shut up. Just need to learn to just shut up. It's a great quality to just listen. Nobody cares about your voice. Nobody cares what you're saying. You need to just learn to just shut up. And he's like, "Oh, you can't talk to me." I told him, "Yeah, probably I can't. And you're probably going to get rid of me because of this. And I don't mind. But I just need to learn something. Your staff members, you're not listening. You're hearing them, but you're not listening. So you need to learn how to just be quiet." Simon Sinek talks about it the best, and he just goes, leaders always need to hear themselves last rather than hear themselves first.
Yes.
So
it's like this, they quote that they have, and I don't know who wrote it, but they said that the leaders eat last. So it's basically the same concept.
Yes. So so if you can learn to be quiet, create, have posture, understand your team, and go through from their pace, you got yourself a formula that would never break.
Yeah. So what do you think about, as a leader, what do you do to grow, to develop yourself, to evolve, to actually match your requirements for your clients? What do you do?
Yeah, it's humility. Humility and showing a sense of vulnerability. I am the first person to say to you, I screwed up, I effed up, I'm not good at this, or I need your help. I'm the first person to always say this to you. I'm never going to be good at everything. And I know, do I want to be good at everything? I think it's a waste of my time to be good at everything. But rather, there's a lot of people that are talented. So I want to utilize them. So if I could hire somebody to do the task that I find trivial or hard, then I solve a lot of the problems. So if you can show a sense of humility, where you understand that you're not going to be the best, and your job as a leader is not to solve problems, but rather create resources or space where problems can be solved.
That's how we call empower the team.
Yes, correct. So if I give you the answer, I'm screwing you. So yeah, if you could do these two, if you could humility, and the second thing, generosity. You gotta give away with no expected returns.
Yeah.
Your knowledge, your expertise, your time, you got to give it away without expecting anything back. If you can give advice, as the book Influence talks about it, how if I give you a gift, you have an obligation to give it back or give it away. So if I can give you generosity through my time, my resources, my information, then you will have an inclination to always give it back or give it forward. And that creates a circle of excellence. Yeah, you want to be part of that.
Yeah, that's what we call in leadership high performance. That's how people always say, "Why performance mean? What does that mean?" Because most of coaches, consultants, and leadership training and development, they use this performance word, but people don't understand what performance means, and that's exactly what it is. It's just have that vulnerability, the gift, all the knowledge and resources that you have, so they can multiply. And that's what John Maxwell always said: multiply. When you multiply, that's the success of your business.
Right. Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Oh my God, this is awesome, Jade. And I got another question from Michelle. She just sent me a question. Okay, hold on. Let me see. She said, Jade, has been incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. But I have a question for you. If you have to give an advice to us as a leader that we have been having issues leading a team, connecting with them, what would you say that we need to do?
So the number one quality, the number one thing that all leaders needs to be able to be good at is following. It's not leading from the front, but it's rather following. So if you're not able to follow as a leader, then you are always going to have ego playing part or pride playing part of your factors. So the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out a way, how do we disarm the next person? So if I am, let's just say I'm an employee, I'm a leader, but I have another leader, a CEO that I'm working with, I have to disarm them. Because whenever you come in there with, I know everything, I know what to do, I have all these problems, I can solve it. They have a coat around them that says to me, I don't want somebody to burst my bubble because I'm too terrified to be showing people who I truly am. Our job is not to burst that bubble, but to go in. So if you could do that, then we both have a coat around us where we can be comfortable. So if the CEO is talking belligerently and all that stuff, then I'll go in and say, listen, your job is very hard. And I understand that it's the hardest thing you have to do, and you always have to showcase that your skills that. And I don't want to disrupt that. I think you're good at it. I think you made your success because of it. I just want to be able to give you a different perspective so you can see there's two solutions to every problem. Doesn't have to one direction. And if we could do that together, then we'll be able to create a necessary trajectory. Because there's a book by Goldwell called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. So whatever you make it, whatever success you make, you're always going to fall. You always. But how do you pick yourself up? And this is where we come in. So if I said to him, okay, I know you're struggling with this, and I know it's hard. And to be honest, it's lonely there. And because of that, you don't have a lot of friends that you can confide in. Let me be that friend. If I can be that friend and give you 5% of my perspective, then we can create a whole new trajectory. Would that be okay with you? Now, I don't sound confronting. I don't sound challenging. I don't sound like I'm trying to take over. Instead, I'm sounding like I want to get into that bubble with you. Yes. And I want to be part of that bubble. So once we get into that bubble, then we can burst it together, because realizing the world is not against you. And your employees are not trying to get you. So that's the best way to get. And the best example I used that was my dad. My dad was always an angry man. He was just always, and so I had to figure out how to get into that bubble rather than burst it. And he was my first guinea pig. He was my first guinea pig.
So how do you do that?
Good. Yeah, good. So, but that was always an angry man. So every time he yells, I'm like, I know that if he yells, I yell with him, but I agree with him. I know you're right. It is nonsense what's happening going on here. It is bullshit. He's like, yeah. And nobody's listening to me. Like, I know nobody listens to you, which is not fair. And I will yell in the same level. And then after that, and then the moment I hear him say yes 3 times to me, I'm in. It doesn't seem fair what's going through you. Yes. It doesn't seem right to how people not treat you well. Yes. And when that happens to you, you feel like you're alone, don't you? Yes. I got 3 yeses. I'm in. Okay, cool. Then let's just sit down. Let's talk about it. They are literally becomes your best friend.
Oh my God, this is completely golden. This is actually, this is the first time I heard this, Jay. Because, because normally when somebody is really angry, I just step away, let it cool down. But I never, with Tony Robbins, they always match the energy that they have to be able to help them during the coaching. But it's more like if you are depressed or stressed, but when you're angry and somebody is angry, it's like in my case, and some people that I have as a clients, they just walk away for a little bit until the person chill out and then they go in. But I never heard this.
Go in. So it's been written by a clinical a clinical psychiatrist that was in a hostage situation, that worked in a hostage situation. And that's how they got through. So that they have to get the 3 yeses before. That's how they negotiate with hostages or hostage.
Oh my goodness.
So
this is cool.
It works.
So thank you, Michelle, for that. That was a really great question. Thank you, Michelle. So I always have this question for anybody. So if you have to create a movie of yourself, what will be the title and what will be the summary at the end of the movie?
Ooh, so the title will be, it's corny, but I'll base it on my book, which is Raise the Bar. So that will be the title. And the summary will be, you are more than what you are today, because tomorrow will bring a new potential. Raise yourself to that new potential. So that will be the summary. And then there's a quote that I used in the book that was fascinating, always amazed me, which it says, people are always good at what they do, But when they're asked how to become great, they say to you, I'm good enough. And they live a life of mediocrity rather than a life of excellence.
Yeah.
It's only our point. It's only our the duty to raise the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be the summary.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Raise the bar. So raise the bar. Be careful. When are you going to be launching the movie?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know yet.
I make
I
you
don't
think.
a few years, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it can be like a book in series, and it could be transformed as a movie later on.
Yeah. So I'm writing. I every now and then I write short stories, but I just keep it in my phone. Like I don't disperse it, but I write short stories and stuff like that. And I'm moving into my next fictional book. So I just want to write a new novel. So that's my dream, is to just write books and novels.
Wow.
So I want to be able to retire from this world of business, so I can just write all day.
Yeah, and being the mentor.
Multiple
millions of people. That would be awesome. Yes.
Hopefully.
We need you, Jay. You're amazing. So if anybody from this community, the Try as a Leader, wants to connect with you, will they be able to connect with you, Jay?
Look, Facebook is my best friend at the moment. I'm not very heavy on social media because I wanted to create my life as a secretive or as exclusive as possible. I didn't want to but I am available on Facebook. So just reach out to me on Facebook, message me, tell me you're part of this group, and you'll be my first priority.
That's awesome. Did you listen to that?
Yeah, I'll do that for you, Candy. I'm more than happy to.
Trust me, Jay has helped me so much, has been giving me so much gold, advice, mentoring, and it's unbelievable. It's completely priceless. So thank you so much for having you here. I really appreciate you, Jade. So thank you so much. So now I just want to end this, and this is an awesome. Remember, next Monday is going to be another section. So if you are interested to become a speaker in this section, just shoot me an email, comment below that you want to be part of this incredible series, our C-suite leadership journey. And then I will be happy to spotlight here. I would love to have you. So just connect with me. And remember, live from your heart, because that's where the magic happens. So talk to you next time.
Thank you.